Before we get to today's video, just a reminder that we have a brand new podcast called Laced Up featuring Get Like Coop and Mike Korzemba. I'm going to leave a link to that in the end screen of the video, and to leave a like and subscribe and turn on our notifications, because I'll always consistently bring you the news and NBA analysis to keep you up to speed with everything that's going on. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The story of Zion Williamson is very near and dear to my heart because it was the first story that I really covered when I became a NBA YouTuber, at least full time. When Zion entered the NBA, there were so many stories surrounding him, and unfortunately, the ones that seem to have been the most intriguing and the ones that seem to have most audiences interested in was his weight issues off of the basketball court. As a matter of fact, the narratives that were around Zion Williamson rarely ever were based upon how talented and gifted this man was at the game of basketball. Rather, it was the fact that his weight distribution was off, that he was consistently injured, and he could potentially be the next big NBA bust if he didn't find a way to lose weight to keep himself on the basketball court as much as possible. And after missing the first half of his career due to a torn meniscus in his knee, Zion Williamson made his debut about a year ago, and boy did he live up to the hype. That game against the San Antonio Spurs, we didn't even necessarily see the athleticism that Zion Williamson put on display. Rather, we saw him and his potential as a three-point sniper. Zion would continue to play a handful of games, about 20 plus games, and would average 22.5 points off of 59% from the field and 6 total rebounds per game. And what was unfortunate is, right as the Pelicans were really beginning to hit their stride, that's when the world was hit by a global pandemic. And after that, we didn't really hear much about Zion Williamson because the entire NBA came to a halt for about 3 months. We saw one picture of Zion Williamson looking really jacked in the gym, but that turned out to be just a really good camera angle. And once Zion came back into the NBA bubble, he had to sit out a few games due to a personal matter because he had to leave the bubble at first. Then he would return, and the Pelicans were not able to pick up where they left off, and Alvin Gentry would end up getting fired. Then we go into the offseason, and there's a new Zion Williamson. Instead of everyone trying to consistently talk about Zion Williamson's weight issues, rather, they decided to discuss one of his teammates' brothers, LaMelo Ball. And don't get it twisted, LaMelo Ball is super gifted and extremely talented, and the future of the NBA is really beginning to look bright between players like Zion and LaMelo. As a matter of fact, I don't even think you could compare the two players. They're two completely different types of players. But what really is starting to tick me off is the fact that here you have Zion Williamson, who is literally fulfilling his potential. He is giving you everything that you'd want to see from a #1 overall pick that was drawing comparisons to LeBron James coming out of Duke. And yet, nobody is talking about him. Nobody cares about him. No one is saying a word about how gifted this man has been in the game of basketball. And honestly, you don't even need to watch each and every Pelicans game to understand how remarkable Zion's been playing. Just go to Basketball Reference and take a look at his stats and you'll see everything that you need to see. If you don't believe me, check this out, man. This year, Zion Williamson is averaging 27 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, off of 62% shooting, 36% from 3, and off of a ridiculous 28 player efficiency rating. The dude can't even legally drink yet. And yet, the only players that he is currently trailing in player efficiency rating are the top 2 candidates for this year's NBA MVP award, Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, and the MVP award winner over the last 2 years, Giannis Antetokounmpo, meaning Zion is currently 4th place in player efficiency rating, beating players like Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, the entire Brooklyn Nets, and LeBron James. But I know what a lot of you guys might be thinking. Mike, player efficiency rating is the most overrated statistic in all of basketball. I respect your opinion, so let me throw some additional statistics at you. My absolute favorite metric for measuring how good a basketball player is win shares, because at the end of the day, what you want in a NBA team and on an NBA roster are players that will contribute to you winning games. And win shares is an estimate of the number of wins that are contributed by a player. And in this category, Zion Williamson once again trails Nikola Jokic, Rudy Gobert, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Damian Lillard in win shares. Now, it's also important to bear in mind that these numbers are slightly skewed because James Harden is contributing 6.8 wins, but he hasn't played a full NBA season so far. LeBron James is number 20 and Kyrie Irving's 21, but they haven't really played complete NBA seasons either. But if that is still not enough to tell you how remarkable Williamson has been so far, he is top 10 in box plus minus, he is 11th in value over replacement player, and is currently tied with Nikola Jokic for the league lead in 2-point field goals made, all while still being just 20 years old. Now, look, we can't just attribute Zion Williamson's success due to himself, because I think a huge portion of it, believe it or not, is mainly due to the head coaching change that the New Orleans Pelicans made. You see, last year, Alvin Gentry decided to do what mostly everyone assumed that is what he should do, which is give Lonzo Ball the ball, have him facilitate and create plays for Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and the rest of the squad, and just sit back and install an up-tempo offense and watch greatness happen. But you see, unfortunately, that didn't really work. That took Lonzo Ball out of rhythm. Things were fairly awkward with Zion Williamson when he was playing off of the ball, and for Brandon Ingram as well. This is where I believe Stan Van Gundy is an absolute genius, because I'm going to admit, I wouldn't even have thought to do this myself. Lonzo Ball's primary reason for getting drafted number 2 overall was because he's a remarkable playmaker. As a matter of fact, his dad even came out and said that the way Lonzo is currently being utilized as a spot-up shooter isn't the way he was meant to play the game of basketball, and he even called for Lonzo Ball to get traded as a result of this, although he didn't end up getting traded. Stan Van Gundy decided that instead of having Lonzo Ball running all the plays for the New Orleans Pelicans, they're gonna have Zion Williamson play the point forward position. And I don't draw this comparison that often. I am very careful with my comparisons, but the moment they decided to do this, I began to see shades of LeBron James in Zion Williamson's game, in the sense that I'm watching this oversized 6'7", 270-pound basketball player bulldoze his opponents inside, bully them to the point where you have to double team him for an opportunity to potentially stop him from getting to the rim, which results in his other teammates being wide open. Pretty much what the Pelicans are doing is they're playing 5 out with Zion Williamson. And this was all possible because Lonzo Ball was out due to an injury. And this is a skill that Zion Williamson definitely needs to learn if he wants his teams to experience the level of success that LeBron James has been able to experience throughout his career. So last night, the New Orleans Pelicans had a pretty nice test. They went ahead and faced off against the Philadelphia 76ers. And bear in mind that this was a test that I expected the Pelicans to fully fail for a plethora of reasons. 1, Lonzo Ball didn't play. 2, the Philadelphia 76ers probably have the best defensive team in the entire Eastern Conference. Danny Green has always been a remarkable defender. Joel Embiid has always been a really good interior defender. And the entire year, we've been seeing Ben Simmons really step it up defensively. Bear in mind, this game was a very important game for the Philadelphia 76ers as well, because If the Sixers win this game, they officially tie the Brooklyn Nets for first place in the East. And here's what happened every single time Zion Williamson faced off against Ben Simmons.
League's second leading scorer, Embiid, up to 6 points early on the take. Zion benefits package, merchandise. Whether it's merchandise, concessions, you make the call. Zion all the way to the hole. Zion against Ben Simmons. Embiid in the neighborhood, so it's Brandon Ingram wide open. Yes! Najee Marshall on the run out. Great pass, Zion on the hammer! Taking 8 shots, 7 have been triples. He's 4 of 7, he's into it.
Great pass.
Yeah, Jackson's there, and flips it home. Steven Adams put him into a bad position, didn't he? Now Zion up against the smaller Danny Green, all the way to the hole. High Zion again, little mid-range, yes! Now, got to get it in. Zion's got it. Zion going hard. Why not?
Wow.
They break it down defensively.
Now, that's not to knock Ben Simmons at all whatsoever. That's not even a knock on Danny Green. We're talking about one of the most elite and most transcendent talents in the NBA right now. The entire point of this video is nobody is noticing him. Following the game, Stan Van Gundy made sure that the entire world knew that this adjustment where Zion Williamson was playing the point guard position wasn't a one-time thing. And when a player puts up 37 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists up against a team that is the second seed in the Eastern Conference, you probably should rinse and repeat those results. Stan Van Gundy said that he had the ball in his hands all the time and the ability to make plays and everything else. Zion said that this felt very natural to him, saying that I've been playing the game since I was 4, and at this point, it just feels natural. I'm still learning, but certain things just feel natural. Van Gundy continued on to say that we want to get him more experience with that stuff going forward, because I think that's where his future is in this game. And when you consider the fact that Zion Williamson brought the ball up 35 times in that game, which is his career high, and the results that followed, then this is definitely something that I hope the Pelicans repeat in the future. So do me a favor, now that you finished this video, let me know in the comments section down below. Does Zion Williamson deserve to get more attention than he currently is getting? Aside from that, I'm going to be on vacation, guys, for the next 4 days, so hopefully I'll be back on Thursday, and I'll catch you guys then on our next upload.